Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to our very bookish channel. And in today's video, y'all, I am so excited. We're doing blind date with a book and I've already picked out my book. I vlogged it in the ARC video that we posted before this one. So if you missed that vlog, then go back. We each read 3 ARCs. We both read Adrift by Will Dean, and then Jen and I each picked 2 additional ARCs separately that we wanted to read. So that was super fun. I really enjoyed it, really enjoyed reading it. I did read 3 different genres, and one genre I don't typically read, but I really did like the book. So I did pick out my blind date with a book in the ARC video, and last time we did blind date with a book, I ordered it off Etsy. And this time I decided to go to a local bookstore. So my local bookstore calls them Book Booze, and I thought it was really fun. This one says it is Shannon, and they do say on here like if it is a MM, an FM, a FF romance, and this is an FM romance. It says, I really need a fresh start. I was hoping this new school can help free me from the torture I've endured. I guess we'll see. So this grabbed my attention because it is a school setting, and y'all know that I kind of love the academia type of books. So that drove my attention. The tropes are new adult, possessive hero, and sports. And I love a possessive hero. And new adult, so kind of probably like college age kids, I'm guessing, and the spice level is just 1 fire, so it's not going to be too spicy. And the sports is interesting to me. My first sports romance, I would say, for me was one I read in the ARC vlog. So that was new to me. I had never read a sports or romance before, and I liked it. So the sports romance is still something that I'm kind of considering. I feel like the sports romance could really, like, I'm not gonna read a bunch of them in a row or anything. I'm not gonna be like obsessed with them, but I did have a good time reading the last one, so I thought I would give this one a try. And y'all, it has been killing me not opening this and holding on to it. Seeing this sit on my bookshelf has been killing me because I'm dying to know what's in it. If you know anything about me, I am a very curious person, and even when I get book mail or anything, I have to open it right away. I see these videos of YouTubers that will pile up book mail, like boxes and those little envelopes of books, and they pile them up and they open them all at once after a couple of months. I could never do that. I have to open it right away and see what it is. So this has been killing me, you guys. I am just a little bit sad because it's so pretty. Like, look how pretty this paper is. Look at that. That is so gorgeous. I just love this paper. So it is kind of sad for me to open it because it is so pretty. Also wanted to note before I open this, I feel like contemporary romance is a good blind date with a book for me because it's probably not a book I've actually read before. I've probably read like less than 5 contemporary romance. So the chances of this being a book I've already read are very, very, very slim. Oh my gosh, it's Binding 13. Oh my god, I've seen this book everywhere. I have never read it, but I have heard so much about Binding 13 and the Boys of Tommen series. Wow. I'm kind of excited for this. I have been curious about this, and look how pretty. Look, it has sprayed edges. Look how pretty this book is. It is kind of thick, but obviously I knew that when I bought it. It is kind of thick. Let's see how many pages this book is. This book is 603 pages, so she's a bit of a chunker. I think that that's pretty lengthy for a contemporary romance, but I'm kind of nervous now because what if I don't like it? And so many people like this book. There's kind of pressure to like it, but we'll see. I'm gonna be honest if I like it or not. So wow, I can't believe this is the blind date with a book. I'm excited. Look how pretty. Okay, so when I get a chance to start reading, I'm really excited to get into this, and I'm feeling a little hesitant, if I'm being honest, y'all, because like I said, so much pressure, but this will be fun. This should be a good time. And I've heard a lot of people get very emotional in this series. So we'll see if it pulls emotions out of me. I'm kind of tough when it comes to that. I don't get super emotional about books. It really takes a lot. Like I really need to be really into the characters and really feel for them. And it has to be believable characters. So we'll see if I get attached to these characters and get emotional. But this is it. This is the book, Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh.
Hey guys, Jen here, and this is the start of our blind date with a book Valentine month vlog. I have ordered 2 different types of blind date with a book from Etsy. One of them came today, so I wanted to start recording for this, even though I probably won't be reading it right away. And the reason why I did 2, first of all, it's hard for me to not buy things when I'm on Etsy. I always end up seeing things I really want to buy on there. But the other reason is I always have that fear that I already will have read the book, or it's going to be a book I'm not really interested in and want to DNF it, like that situation. So I am going to do 2 different ones. The one that came today is, and I'll put it on the screen too, the address is Poppy Wild Books. They have a shop on Etsy, and it's a super cute color for the envelope. And I am dying to see which book I got. But after I put it on the screen, I'm sure that you saw that they look really cute. And I can't wait to see what it looks like in the package. And she put a little thank you in here. Oh, I love it. Etsy is my favorite because you often are getting like other extras too. And of course, I just saw a new trailer for the new Scream movie that's coming out, but there's a sticker that says, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
I think this one I chose horror, and I think the other one I chose thriller, because you know what says Valentine's? Like, you know, horror and thriller. And there's a cute little pen, and it's a little ghost, and it says Human Stories. Love it. And there is another horror sticker. Carrie, it says Prom Queen. So she included that in the thank you. And it's wrapped very, very nice. I'm going to be very careful opening this because I think it's going to be packaged with some extras, as you saw in the picture I put on the screen. And it says, "Thank you, happy reading." I'm going to be very careful. I am loving the color though. I love this like color green. I think Amanda would appreciate that as well. I don't want to open this, guys. I don't. It's beautiful. How cute is that? I love it so much. I seriously don't want to open this. It is horror. It says the Goodreads rating is 4.08. That alone makes me want to read it. Sometimes a high scoring book on there makes me want to read it. And it has horror on the side too. And the description, it's 580 pages, even though it doesn't really feel like it's that thick. Guys, this might be Stephen King, which would be pretty awesome. But a seemingly perfect movie moves into a picturesque Maine home, only to discover that the nearby woods hide a terrifying, deadly secret that proves sometimes dead is better. I think this is Pet Sematary, which means I already read that. I mean, it is what it is. You get a lot of extras on here. I'm gonna pull out some of the extras and show you. There's another terrifying sticker. And there is a book tab. It says one more chapter. Love that. There is a pen. And a tiny little notebook. I think these are Moleskine. There is another sticker. There is an herbal tea. Oh, I love this. It's a bookmark. It says Reader Pop Horror Edition. And then it has this like index card. It says book review. So I'm going to put all this down. I am going to open it, and I'm fairly certain it's Pet Sematary. So it is a good thing that I asked for 2. And it is Pet Cemetery. I'm a little, maybe a lot disappointed that maybe I should have chose romance. So I'm not sure. I would feel really bad if I just end up returning it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll read on her profile and see if she says anything about if you have already read it. I do really like this cover, and I did listen to the audio, so it wouldn't be a horrible thing if I just own it. I don't think I would ever reread it. I do want to read a lot of Stephen King. I wish it would have, I mean, I haven't read that many Stephen King, and it's pretty wild that I got a duplicate when I've read, I think it's been 3 now, and he has a lot. We'll have to wait for the next package. I'm pretty sure I picked Thriller for the next one. I don't remember which Etsy shop at this minute, but it has been shipped. I'm just waiting on it. So once I get that one, I'll be back and you will see what that one looks like. So stay tuned. All right, I have an update. So I did message the Etsy seller for the book that I have already read to see if there was just a chance that I could exchange it, send it back, pay for shipping, of course. And she's actually working with me, and she asked for my Goodreads profile so that obviously it doesn't happen again. But I was over the moon that she agreed to do an exchange, and I already sent back the book, and I did get the second one. So this isn't from her. I did order 2 different blind dates with a book just for the off chance I would have either already had the book, because I didn't predict that I would be able to return it or exchange it. And I also did it just in case I have to DNF. So that's why I did 2. Plus, they're just fun. There's also that. So this one is from a seller called Beyond the Trope. And it has a cute little pink envelope. And I am excited to see what it looks like. This one is very cutely packaged. It says thank you, and it has a sticker. I love it so much. I love this packaging. I am a fan of very cute packaging. There is a thank you Beyond the Trope postcard with a QR code. We will make sure, as I said, to tag them from the Etsy shop. I love it so much. And I did pick romance this time. I was trying to do 2 different genres just so that there was a chance that I would not like whatever book it is. But this one is so beautifully packaged. I love it so much. There is a tea packet, and I do have a little bit of a cold. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's green tea, which is the best for colds. So there is that. And then there are some stickers, of course, with a very cute paper clip that is like a heart. And the stickers say crying over fictional characters. The fanfic was better. I'm in a really good place right now in my book, not mentally. Very funny. And so many books, so little time. And then lastly, the book was better, which typically it is. There is a highlighter, green highlighter, and another card that looks like a library card that is like a reading list. I think there's some book tabs. I'm trying not to rip it. Some book tabs. Oh, and this is a cool sticker. It says books I've read this year. I hope I have a way of using all this stuff. I am going to rip into this, and I'm worried. Really worried. Already read it. We'll see. I haven't read as much romance, at least. And it doesn't have... So on the back, it says, your next great story begins here. Inside this wrapping is more than just a book. It's an invitation to pause, to savor, and to discover something new. No spoilers, no hints, just the pure delight of opening the unknown. Each blind date with a book is carefully hand-selected by our team of readers who believe that stories should find you. Whether it makes you laugh, swoon, or stay up past midnight turning pages, this book was chosen to bring you joy and surprise. Take your time, pour a cozy drink, unwrap slowly, and let the anticipation build. With every page, you'll step into a world you didn't see coming, and that's where the magic lives. So it doesn't have a description, just romance of what is in here. I know some of them say kind of like a description of what is in there. I don't recognize it so far. So this one is called The Temporary Wife, and it has sprayed edges. I do not know this one. That is a good thing. So this one says, from the author of The Wrong Bride comes an angsty, steamy marriage of convenience romance featuring a billionaire boss and his secretary. When Luca Windsor's secretary suddenly quits her job shortly after his family forces him into an unwanted engagement, he sets out to solve both problems by secretly marrying his secretary, Valentina, instead. The rules are simple. Don't fall in love, keep their marriage a secret at work, share a bed every night. It was meant to be straightforward and mutually beneficial deal, but each day passes, it becomes clear to Luca that one thing Valentina wants is the only thing he can never do, letting her go. So we'll see. It's a romance. It's perfect for Valentine's Day. As we read this, that was the whole point. I will be starting this and letting you guys know what I think.
I have read to chapter 11. So I'm on page 125 right now. And let me just give you guys a little bit of a synopsis on this book, because if you're like me, and you probably aren't, because most people probably know what's going on with this book, but I've seen this book everywhere and I've heard a lot about it. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, but I have no idea what this book was about. Looking back on it, with the description on the wrapping paper, if you had read this book or were familiar with this book, you really could have guessed what was the blind date book. You could have guessed what was in the paper, because it says Shannon on the front, it said female and male, and it said sports romance and going to a new college and touch her and you die, or what was it? What did it say on the front? It said protective boyfriend or something like that. So like, knowing that, if you had read the book, you could have easily known, or if you knew about the book, you would have known what this book was. But obviously I did not. Like I said, I haven't read a lot of contemporary romance, but this book is about Shannon. Shannon is a 15-year-old at a high school, and she has been brutally bullied physically, mentally, emotionally. She has just gone through it, a lot of bullying, and you don't really know why. It just seems like, based on the information you've gathered, there was a group of girls from 1 year older than her that just mercilessly bullied her. I mean, terrible bullying. So she decides to switch schools. Well, she gets hurt and her mom says, you're switching schools. So she decides to switch from her public school to this private school called Tommen. And Johnny, who is the MMC, is a very talented and popular rugby player for this school. He is currently 17 years old, almost going to be 18 years old. And I'm not going to spoil how they meet, because it's kind of cute, how they meet. But you really get to see Johnny's sensitive side, and how, like, one of the tropes that I love is a very hard, brutal, morally gray MMC, but then they have a softer side for the person that they're interested in. And there is a side story which I really want more of, and I do think you're gonna get more of later in the book. But Shannon's dad is a bad person. I mean, at least you think he's a bad person. Shannon alludes to abusive behavior. She alludes to the fact that she doesn't want to be around her dad. She's the only girl child in the household, so it's just her and her mother. So she has her own private bedroom, because she also has 5 brothers and she's the only girl, so she gets her own bedroom. And she says that she's so happy, even though her room is really small, that she has that private room with a locked door, so she can like have some privacy and try to kind of stay out of the way of her dad. She also mentions the fact that her dad is an alcoholic, so you feel like, she's in an abusive household. And her older brother did move away. She hasn't seen her oldest brother. I should say oldest. She has an older brother, but her oldest brother moved away because he was gay and his dad didn't like that, and he just moved out, and she hasn't seen her oldest brother for like 5 years. So it's obviously not a very happy household, and I do wish we had more information about that. I'm very curious to know like exactly what's going on. Like I want to know like exactly something that her dad has done, or you know, an instance where we can see more from her father, because like I said, aside from what I've told you, I really don't know anything else. And I'm just curious to know like how bad is this man? I mean, obviously he's a really bad, terrible person, but her mom is pregnant, and so her mom's still continuing to have kids with him. So like, I don't know, you just don't know what's going on. So I am just curious more to learn about how terrible her dad is, to be honest with you. I feel like the story's going in a direction where Johnny's gonna have to save her from her dad at some point. So I think that we're gonna get more, but just as of right now, you don't really have a lot, except you know that her dad's a real shit person. That's all I've got. I just don't know why it's called Binding 13. That's another thing that I've really been curious about. Even before I got this book for my blind date book, I was curious when I would see this book everywhere why it's called Binding 13. And then the other books in the series are like Keeping 13, I think, or Saving 6, something like that. So it follows this trend, right, with the words and the number. So I just am curious to know why they're called this. So I think we're gonna find out, but that's all I got for now, and I have a busy day today. I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to read today, but I will definitely get back with y'all and catch y'all up once I can read a little bit more.
I got the replacement book that I had asked to exchange since I had already read the Stephen King. I wonder if she picked Stephen King, since I did say that was a great choice. I just read that one. She did have my Goodreads. So she saw my one to read. Oh, she still wrapped it. I appreciate it. I told her she didn't have to. I am appreciative that she did that. It's nice and cold because it's like a tundra out here. Oh, she wrapped it. I feel bad because she wrapped it again. And I really didn't want her to do that because I just feel bad because I don't know. But she sent the coolest bookmark. Look at this. I love it so much. I love it. You guys need to get a blind date from a book, and we will have her information in the comments. And she sent me more stickers. Oh my God, the Babadook. That is hilarious. I actually have to send this to my friend Jess because she and I, quick story, she and I watched the movie The Babadook. And I do like to freak myself out with horror movies. And I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, and I had on the front of the place I was renting, it was a house, I had a motion sensor light. So if someone was on the porch or in the front yard, the light would come on. And we were in my living room, which was right by the front door. So we were watching the Babadook, and it came to this like really creepy part. And all of a sudden, because it was really dark out, it was late at night, and all of a sudden the porch light came on. And I start freaking out, and I was like, why is the porch light coming on? And we don't know. We didn't see anything outside, because sometimes the place that I lived in had a lot of wildlife around. So like if a deer's walking through your front yard, it would come on. But we looked outside from inside, we didn't go outside, and we didn't see anything. Yeah, Babadook. It's a really creepy movie. And she sent again, hope this is a good pick, happy reading, Elise. And it's Poppy Wild Book Company, and we will put the information in there because she has really gorgeous wrapping on her books and gives the coolest things. Oh my God, I've wanted to read this, and she probably saw that on Goodreads, but this is Strange Houses. Strange Houses has been very popular. It's kind of a viral book, and there's 2 follow-ups to it, but it's a multi-layered type book, and I think you kind of have to find out. So the New York Times book review on the back says, a labyrinth, a multi-layered horror mystery, wonderfully complex and carefully crafted. Yuketsu, who is the author, keeps readers guessing until the very end. And it's the type of book that, and I'm trying not to read too much in it because I don't want to ruin it, but it has like diagrams in it. And I feel like, and I read one last year that had been similar where it had like the multimedia inside the book. So I'm very excited that I finally get to read this. This is a great pick. Thank you so much. I am definitely going to start with this one. I haven't started, even though I had the other book that's like the dark romance. I am going to start with this one, and I think this is going to be a fantastic book. So thank you for this. So I will be back when I have thoughts after I've read some about Strange Houses.
Guys, I finished the book this morning. I have a very busy day today, but I was able to finish the book, and I am literally in stop traffic. It is snowing like crazy, and I'm literally not moving anywhere. I'm stopped on the interstate trying to get where I need to go, but I had to jump on here because I cannot believe how that book ended. Like, that is not an ending. I'm sorry. There's no way you can just read Binding 13 and then stop. Like, it's in the middle of the story. You get 0 conclusions. You get 0 answers to anything. I am in shock at how that book ended. I planned on just reading this book and not worrying about the rest of the series because it's not a book that I have been completely interested in, but I don't see how I can stop at this point. Like, there's no way I can stop. I have to keep going. And Jen and I do need to read another book. We are going to do a viral book, and I wanted to start that one next because it's very important that we read the book and put out the video while the book is viral. But I can't, because I can't stop thinking about this book, and I want my answers. And I also want to see Johnny beat the ever-living crap out of somebody. You know who, if you've read the book, you know. So, I don't know. I'll wrap up with final thoughts. I'm going to check and see if I can get the next book out of the library, and then wrap up with final thoughts with y'all in a little bit.
I am starting Strange Houses, and I'm really excited to start this. But as soon as you start, it has this diagram of the first 2 floors of this house. And I wanted to read this because it just is interesting. And it said, this is the floor plan of a certain house. Do you see anything strange about it? At first glance, it probably looks totally normal, like a house anyone might live in. But if you look very closely, you might notice things here and there that seem somehow off. These off details pile up and link together to lead to one inescapable truth. A truth so terrifying you won't want to believe it. And I don't really notice anything at first glance. I was trying to really look. I feel like I'm pretty good detective-wise, noticing things, but I am really not noticing anything. So I'm not sure what to think about it, but I'm gonna keep going and I'll let you guys know some thoughts as I go along. I am really enjoying Strange Houses, and I'm not even that far in it. I'm seriously like a chapter in it, but I love how the very beginning they keep showing the floor plan and pointing out weird anomalies on the floor plan, and it's pointing to some really creepy things that I don't know how much I'm gonna like the answers to, especially since it's seemingly around a child. So I hope there is no like torture or abuse of children in this, because I'm gonna have to DNF it, unfortunately. So let's see what else is going on. Hopefully that's not the case, and I'll give you guys some feedback when I get a few more chapters in.
Hey y'all, update. I did borrow Keeping 13, from my Libby app. I was able to get the audiobook. The audiobook apparently is in part 1 and part 2. Not sure if that's the same for Binding 13, but Keeping 13 came in part 1 and part 2. I was able to get both parts. I was not able to get an ebook. I was put on a wait list for that, and there's also a wait list at my library. So the audiobook is all that I've got for now, which is okay. The audiobook, I will say, has taken some getting used to because these books take place in Ireland, and the actors doing the audiobook have a very strong like Irish accent. So it is taking a little bit of adjusting to the accent and getting used to. But I am really enjoying the continuation of this book so far. I have read over half or listened to over half because I'm currently on part 2. So I have listened to over half, I think, of Keeping 13. And I just thought, you know, I have to finish the story. I don't feel like I can really give you guys my impression and final thoughts without finishing the story. It felt like Binding 13 wasn't a whole book. It felt like it was just half a book, even though it is over 600 pages long. It just felt like half of a book, and I don't feel like I could really give my thoughts and opinions and feelings on the story without finishing the whole story. Also, I cannot move on to another book without finishing this one. I am invested. I have to know what's going on. I'm not gonna be able to concentrate on anything else until I finish Keeping 13 to kind of find out what happens. Also, there's a lot of things that I was anticipating and really wanting out of Binding 13 that I did not get that I think is going to occur in Keeping 13. So I am wanting to continue and get to those parts that I want to get to. I am also loving Gibbsy, and I'm thinking about maybe reading his story. I know he has a book or two in the Boys of Tommen series. I don't know if it's the next book. I don't know if you have to read it in order. If you all have read these books, if you can help a girl out and let me know, can I jump to Gibbsy's book? Is it the next book? Do I have to read them in order? Are they chronological? Like, just let me know, because I don't know if I want to read all of them, but I am interested in Gibbsy and Claire's story because I just find Jared Gibbsy so funny, and I love the banter between him and Claire, and they like each other, but they are like right people, wrong time, because she is younger than him. And he is just wanting to be a wild teenage boy right now. He's not really wanting to like wife up, but he knows that Claire is the one for him. And she also feels, I think, the same way about Gibbsy. She's not very forward with her feelings, at least in this book, but you can tell like with their banter and their flirting that they are both like into each other. So I do want to get more of their story. So that's all for now. And if I get the ebook, I might try to film me reading it and maybe some of my reactions. It's kind of hard to do with the audiobook. But if I can get the ebook, or if my hold comes in from the library for the physical book, I'll try to do that. However, I am listening to this book like every chance that I get, so I'm very likely to finish it today or tomorrow. And then reading the ebook or physical book will be pointless because I've already listened to it. So we'll see. We'll see how the timing works out. If my book comes in and I can do it, I will. If not, then I will just follow up with you guys when I have finished Keeping 13 with my final thoughts.
All right, the plot is thickening in this and pointing to potentially a deeper, how do I want to say it? It almost feels like it could be a potential like serial killing family. And I hope that's not a spoiler because I don't know what's going on yet. You're just getting a lot of information. And the two, I guess you call them friends, are looking at a house that is similar to the first one that they were looking at in the floor plan and deciding that this could be more than one house that their theory could be pointing to. Right now, it's still their theory. They don't know if anyone is really being murdered, and they are just seeing these anomalies in houses, and there's this wild theory of what could be happening. Right now, they don't know if that is true. So it's very different, very different. I am intrigued. I am going to keep going and let you guys know more thoughts. I'm back, not with an update on Strange Houses, but I did get a box today, and I'm pretty sure it's the book that I won on the Goodreads giveaway, I think. I think at least it is an ARC, but I'm pretty sure because I am waiting for that one to come. And I was right. I am very excited that I won a Goodreads giveaway. Usually when I've won in the past, there's usually a letter from Goodreads saying that you had won it, but it's How to Survive in the Woods. And it's by Kat Rosenfeld. I had marked several of hers as want to read on Goodreads. This one I ended up entering right before it was supposed to end. And then I got notified literally the next day that I won. I'm super excited, and I feel like when I get book mail that sometimes it actually feels like a blind date with a book because I don't always know what's in the box. This one I kind of had a feeling, and I was right. I am definitely excited about reading this. I'm hoping to get an ARC review for it. I don't know if I have enough time, but the next time you see me, I will have more updates on Strange Houses.
This is an unfair blind date with a book. I can't believe that they gave me this as a blind date with a book, or a book boo that they call it at the bookstore I bought it from, for two reasons. One, you can't just read this book. This book is over 600 pages long, and you can't not read Keeping 13 right after reading Binding 13 unless you want to feel like you're just DNFing a book, because this is not a complete book. And two, a girl needs to be prepared for an emotional book like this. Like, I was blindsided. If you just know, if you're gonna read these books, you need to know that it's gonna be really sad in some parts, and you're gonna feel terrible in some parts, because the things that these characters go through, the trauma, the found family, the support, the friendships, it's so much. It's a lot of emotions. So just know that going into it. And for those reasons, I think this is an unfair blind date with a book. However, I did enjoy it. And I am going to talk about Binding 13 and Keeping 13 as if they're like one book, because it's just too hard to separate. It's kind of like part 1 and part 2 of a story. It's too hard to just keep them separated. So I don't have a copy of Finding 13 because I borrowed it from Libby and listened to it as an audiobook. So I only have this copy of Binding 13. But overall, I really, really enjoyed the book. It was emotional. I really, really enjoyed the characters. The writing is very addictive. You do want to keep reading these books. And this particular book, this version of this book, does have an extended scene I wanted to show you all. It has like a little bonus chapter here. And the extended scene, if you're curious, it's called Booster Seats and Beating Hearts. And it goes into detail about Johnny taking Shannon to the movie theater. And it was a nice bonus. I am glad that that scene was included in this book. I was very happy with the ending. I do feel like the ending kind of drug out a little bit. And I'm talking about the end of Finding 13. I do feel like it was drug out a little bit. It could have been a little bit shorter. I feel like we didn't need necessarily all of the extended content at the end of the book. But overall, it was a good read. I gave Binding 13, I think, 3 stars on Goodreads, and Finding 13, 4 stars on Goodreads. They were entertaining. They were emotional. I liked the characters, but they weren't like 5 stars for me. They didn't give me that 5-star feeling. They weren't just amazing, blow your mind. I do really, and I know I mentioned this in the previous clip, but I do really, really want to read more of Jared Gipsy. I just find him and Claire's banter to be so funny. The way that they goad each other and tease each other and flirt with each other is so fun. And I want to see their relationship develop into a more committed relationship. I need to know though, do you have to read the other books in order? Because when I looked up this series on Goodreads, the next 2 books are Joey's story, who is Shannon's brother. And then I think the book after that is Gipsy. And then I know Liz has a book, and I think there's one more book that I'm not remembering. Maybe it's Huey. I don't know. Anyways, I just need to know, do you have to read all of the books in order? or can I just skip to Gipsy's book? Just let me know. Another thing that I really loved about this book is the character growth. I love a story where the character grows and changes and evolves and matures maybe. I just loved the character growth in all of these characters, not just Johnny and Shannon, but you obviously see the most growth in Johnny and Shannon. I mean, Johnny starts out just this typical kind of playboy, sports star, 17-year-old boy. And when Shannon comes into his life, he all of a sudden, I think it feels like initially he feels sorry for her and protective of her because he can see the trauma in her right away. And he feels bad about how they meet. And I don't want to tell you how they meet, just in case that's considered a spoiler, but he feels kind of bad about it, and he does feel this need to protect her, and he obviously thinks she's very pretty. And she is a very small, I want to say weak girl. I think physically she is portrayed as weak because they talk constantly about how tiny she is, how small she is, how short she is, how she only weighs 85 pounds. Like, it's constantly reminding you how little she is, and she's portrayed as this little frail thing, and she is very much in her shell because of trauma that she experienced, but she's not weak mentally. I just want to say, like, she's very strong mentally, and even physically, take some of the physical blows and things that have been done to her, she's stronger physically than she is portrayed. But to see her grow by the end of Keeping 13, the way that she handles a bully, and to see her grow into the person she is, mentally, emotionally, and even physically by the end of the book, is just so fun. I love watching that. And with Johnny, I love his dedication to Shannon. It's almost like after she comes into his life, there is no one else but her. Like, he only cares about her, and it's like no one else matters. No one else could hold a candle to her. No one else could even compare. And I actually think if you've read the books, he was too nice to Bella. That's hard to say, like, a guy's being too nice to a girl and girls should be respected always, but like, Bella was just relentless. And I feel like any other boy, any normal boy, any real boy in real life would never have put up with her shit as long as he did. He was trying to be like respectful to her because of their situation, but like, I don't think she deserved it. She needed to be told, like, right away, very bluntly, to just F off, in my opinion. But he tried to go the civil route, and it just came to a head eventually in the book. So I don't know, but I loved seeing the growth of the characters. I am glad that I read it, even though I still feel like it was not a fair blind date with the book. I don't feel like it's fair to put someone through this if you're not prepared or you don't know about these books. But I am glad that I read it. And let me know if you all have read this book and if you feel the same way. Let me know if you've read the other books in the series, if you think I should continue them. And I hope you have enjoyed listening to me talk about how much this book emotionally destroyed me.
I finished, and this was super easy to get through because there are so many pictures throughout that you're trying to solve the different house plans that they're showing you and theories as to what is really going on. You do get, I think, the story at the end, and skip ahead if you don't want spoilers, because I feel like what I'm about to say could be taken as a spoiler, but I feel like it was left open-ended. You get a story, but there seems to be something else going on. And I think that was intended. I could have finished this in one day because it is so short if I had the time to devote to just reading it. I'm not the fastest reader, and even I could probably get to it in one day if I did nothing else all day. I really enjoyed it. I think if you like anything that you are trying to solve and along with the story, if you're trying to figure it out, I think it's like a kind of like a puzzle. And I really want to read the next one. I think the next one is Strange Pictures, but there's also one called Strange Buildings. So I'm not sure what order they go through. I don't even know if this one was the first one. I thought it was, but I could be wrong about that. I'd have to look it up. I very much enjoyed it. I kind of feel like the end was not rushed per se, but I feel like, and it could have been intentional, that you're not getting all of the story. And maybe that's how they wanted it to end. I feel it was almost too short. But anyone who watches this channel, whenever I talk about short stories, that's usually my complaint, is that I feel like short stories are just too short and it can be longer. I don't know if it's necessarily, obviously you don't want it to go on and on and on, but I always end up wanting more when it's short. It's still a 4-star read for me. I think it would have very easily been 5-star if I didn't have that feeling. I just think it's a very unique way to have a mystery, a murder mystery, really. And it was just something different that I haven't read before. And anytime I come across like a different type of book like that, especially depending on the content, I get very invested and I love it. There was a book similar that had kind of like mixed media where you're looking at newspaper clippings and there are all kind of different things in the book, and I'm forgetting the name of it at the minute, but I really loved that book. I felt like it was such a different way to have a thriller, because it did feel like a thriller, and that one I enjoyed immensely. I can put it on the screen so you guys know which one that is that I'm talking about. And I know this author is very popular in Japan, and I know since it's been introduced in America, I think they've been pretty popular too. I can see why. I did enjoy this a lot and I would very highly suggest it. I think it's worth reading. Thanks for watching as we choose Blind Date with a Book. I'm curious to see what kind of blind date with a book Amanda had chosen. I think she was going to go physically into a bookstore near her and pick one up. I know bookstores tend to do it. I know the Second and Charles near me does it, and Barnes & Noble does it, and those are always fun to choose. As you saw in this video, sometimes I'm not a big fan of them because you end up either getting one that you already read or the other one that I'm just not in the mood to read. I was going to try and do both of them for this vlog, but we've been doing other videos and other things have come up. I might have enough time to get it in this video, but I don't want to attempt it and then this video get dragged out. We've already been behind in the past in terms of how many videos we want to do, but what is realistic in terms of time is what we have to consider. So I think it's best if I just stick to the one and I can read that romance in the future for a different vlog or whenever I'm in the mood for it, because I am a mood reader and so I have it now. I very much loved opening the packages and getting each of these Blind Date with a Book. I love what they included and how they packaged it. So I got mine from Etsy. And as I said earlier in the video, Amanda can put it in the comments. Even if you go on Etsy and put in Blind Date with a Book, you get so many different options. It can be overwhelming. I was overwhelmed when I saw how many different options and I ended up getting too much choice. It was hard for me to pick. But I am so happy and so thankful, especially for Elise, who was willing to let me exchange for a different one. I am so appreciative because I ended up loving this one and I didn't have to just skip to my other choice. I got a chance to do one that I was really in the mood for reading. Her shop on there, Poppy Wild Book Company. I would suggest you shopping at her Etsy shop since she has been fantastic. Thanks guys for watching our Blind Date with a Book, and until next time.